My name is Robert Frederick. I'm a stay-at-home dad and a master's student at Cal State Fullerton, studying the field of history. In this channel, History Thesis, I'd like to start my vlog and just talk about my experience as a student working on my master's. Perhaps you can find some inspiration and learn a little bit about what it takes, as well as take the time to maybe vent a little and share some of my ideas. Um, so we won't have any of that beautiful lighting and camera set up yet. I might do something later down the road. Um, but for now, you'll probably see me walking around the house working on a few things. A lot to be done. And sharing some of my thoughts, things that I've been thinking about, things that I've been mulling around in my head, and then address some topics of history, looking at different theses, uh, talking about the idea of history, probably reflecting on a few of the books that I've read, maybe even sharing some of the work that I have to do, some of the work that I've done, some work that I'd like to do. There's a plethora of things to address, and I have a lot on my mind that I'd like to share. So I'd appreciate it if you take the time to listen and engage. Give me some feedback, something that I can add to my thoughts. I would love to be able to share some of my ideas of history and where I think the field is going, as well as analyze where the field is at today. Um, so, with that, I guess I'll share some of my particular interests. I wasn't originally going to be a history student. In fact, this is really my third try, getting the good old college try at college. And really, it's kind of been largely because of my wife and the support she's given me that allowed me to really feel like I can pursue school and succeed. I've historically, been a terrible student, and I've spent quite a few years out of school. But I have done a lot of teaching myself over the years, and we live in a wonderful age where you can do that. We have got YouTube, we got audiobooks, we got podcasts, we got all this uh, ability to consume knowledge at a pretty rapid pace. Um, and I've spent a lot of time doing that. So I originally wanted to study philosophy, but then I figured I need a career that's going to make me some money, um, and either you write a book or you teach in philosophy. Um, the other is comparative religion. Religion is something that was really important to me over the years, and I loved seeing different people's understanding, different people's backgrounds, and so I studied a lot of different religions as well, and that's really informed my understanding of things. Um, and but again, it's not very many places are hiring for comparative religion studies. So, lastly, I decided, what centers around these two ideas of philosophy and religion, and kind of bridges them all together is history. History is one of those things where we see both of those elements being brought together, and bringing into these ideas of what becomes culture. Um, so that's kind of my background in education. For the most part, I have interests in everything, and I've done just about everything. Um, and I plan on finishing up my degree in history and then going to be an apple farmer. And that's slightly a joke because that's really what we're going to do. But I plan on teaching largely while we start up the family business. Anyways, enough of that. So this is kind of a quick introduction to myself. I'm kind of the I'm always thinking, I'm always mulling ideas around, and I need to start sharing that because if I don't, my brain will explode. I feel at times that I have so many ideas in my head that if I don't just talk and process some of them, like I just can't think, I can't function, and that's really terrible when I've got to read like 3 books in the same week as well as write papers. So, um, uh, you'll get to learn a little bit more about me and my background and my thinking and some other references to that I think relate to the field of history that your traditional historian probably wouldn't draw upon, and that's probably largely because I've worked by a few sets of uh, wise words, and for today it'll be from I believe it was C.S. Lewis who said, "Read broadly and read deeply." Um, he was huge on reading classics, as I am as well. I really do love the classics, um, and I don't. I think what makes them classics is they haven't quite aged out. They're not really irrelevant, and and so I read old, I read new, I read vastly from psychology um, to biz dev, and a lot of those you'll see that there's ideas of culture and sociology and anthropology in those, um, and as well as still reading in philosophy, and of course reading a ton of history right now. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope I don't end up rambling too much and boring you all to death. Um, and let's face it, this is more therapeutic for me than it is anything else. And eventually, hopefully, I'll get into some real teaching. I have a few videos on here on how to do a thesis, as I was teaching some classmates as well as myself on how we do a thesis and what we're looking for and how we structure that. And I'll probably reboot that at some point, but we don't need to get into that. Um, anyways, so I best get to some housework before the baby gets up. And of course, I gotta get to some reading because I got class tonight. So, anyways, maybe I'll share some of my thoughts on campus as well as seeing some other projects that we're working on. Um, anyways, I look forward to seeing y'all or hearing from you all.